we cap ourselves at what we believe we can have. We cap ourselves at, I am not allowed to ask for X, Y, Z, or I don't believe I can have it because that's just the way I am. Like, that's just who I am, and who am I to get everything that I want? And you stop asking that question when you see yourself as worthy to have what you want.
You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in.
I posted something back in April. It was, I think, on the 2nd of April, something like that. And this post was, if I had thoughts all day of who am I to do this, but I wanted 10K plus cash months to be my new normal and for them to stick, this is exactly what I do. I love these kinds of posts because it really gives you a glimpse into like habits, behaviors, things that people may not even realize are all a part of the puzzle when it comes to making a certain amount of income, signing clients, etc. So I love doing these kinds as well, but I also love to incorporate things, that have to do with the mindset, that have to do with the subconscious. And I'm so excited to talk about a piece of this post. As I said, it was posted on the 2nd of April, so you can go and check that out on the feed. But one piece of it was, I'd be committed to visualizing who I actually would be at 10K plus months, especially my behaviors that no one else sees but me and the way that I talk to myself. I'd then clock every single thing that I was doing or saying that was not aligned with this version of me. And here's why I think that identity work is the most important work that you will do ever inside of your business. Because if you do not see yourself as a powerful leader, neither will anybody else. If you do not see yourself as somebody who is worthy of receiving high ticket for her services, neither will anybody else. The reason why people are so stuck at certain income levels, the reason why people can't sign a fucking client to save their life is because their identity is not consistent with the identity of a person who has that, and they are blocking themselves. You are blocking yourself because there are habits that you have, behaviors that you still participate in, and things that you still do that just are not aligned with the version of you that you know you would be if you actually had that circumstance. So things from your step goal every day. For me, I get at least 10K steps a day, and this is a huge deal for me. It's something that I make sure to do every single day, whether I have to be on my fucking walking pad or going outside. I'm so excited now because it's May and I'm going to be outside all the time with the doggies, and getting 10K plus steps a day to me is so important because that's the version of me that I know that I would be with my next income level. And when it just comes to like how I value my health, how I value the movement that I do each and every day, okay? So things like that, to things behind the scenes in my business that are leaky, right? If you do not have the appropriate system set up where if a client were to drop in and say, hey, I'm ready to go, would you be able to send them the link and then they get onboarded, they get their contract? Are these things in place? And it's not that you need them to make money, it's the way that you feel about it. It's the way that you see the value of your services matching your client experience, right? What's another thing? How I am behind the scenes, right? Like, am I doing my routines when it comes to the subconscious work that I do? Am I regulating my nervous system each day? These are things that keep me in integrity with the work that I do because I talk about them all the time and I talk about how important they are, right? Another thing about identity work is it's not just about being the person. It's also when you are focused on the fact that you are this person, your success comes to fruition. The things that you want, the goals that you're working towards come to fruition. Because let's talk some sciencey shit here. You have something that's called a reticular activating system. And this is a filter in your brain that focuses on the thing that you are focused on. So things like journaling, things like visualization. Specifically in this Instagram post that I'm talking about today, I said I'd be committed to visualizing who I actually would be at 10K months. Why? Because when you are intentionally focusing on what you want and who you need to be to get what you want, these things are going to be top of mind. Those are going to be the things that you focus on. Think of a yellow car, see a yellow car. That is how your reticular activating system works, right? The thing that you focus on the most expands. So when you're focused on your anxiety, when you're focused on the fact that things aren't working, when you're focused on the fact that the online industry is a fucking scam, like these are all things that you will continuously see in your reality, right? And they will continuously come up for you to resolve or for you to believe, right? And that's truly how I see it, especially as you are changing your thoughts and changing your beliefs. You are going to continuously hit up against your old thoughts, your old stories, the things that you believe. And you can choose two routes. You can believe it. You can continue to believe it. You can continue to have the thought, or you can see it as coming up for resolution, as coming up for you to see that and be like, you know what? This is something that I really want to change. So even though I can't change the first thought, I can change the second thought. So when you are visualizing that next level version of yourself, it is placed in your focus. It is placed in your focus for you to work towards. And when you are in integrity and you truly feel like I'm being the person that I know I would be. So for example, when you have something happen inside of your business or even something inside of your personal life, like let's take an example with me and my husband. If my husband does something that pisses me off, and basically everything does because I'm an Aries and I get irritated very easily. But if he does something and I react very negatively, right? I need to catch it and be like, okay, would the 10K plus version of me, would the 20K plus, 30K plus, whatever I'm working towards, would that version of me respond like this? And it's not about the money per se. It isn't about the fact that like me making 30K a month is related to the way that my husband is acting, but the version of me that makes that amount is very regulated, is very calm, is not going to react in a negative way. So because for the longest time, I used to have a very knee-jerk reaction to things, and then I learned, oh, this is me being dysregulated. This is me projecting my dysregulation onto circumstances, right? And I'm so grateful for this work because I know that when we have kids, like I am going to be a lot more calm. And even if I do get overstimulated and whatever, I have tools and I have things that will totally help me with this. Again, grew up in a house where there was sometimes a lot of yelling and anger, and I am an Aries. I'm an Aries. I have ADHD. So that knee-jerk reaction used to happen a lot. Instead, I learned how to separate the stimulus from my response. So I learned how to create space between the thing that was happening and how I responded to it. And that has changed my fucking life. So again, I am going to behave in a way that I know would be conducive for how I see myself. Because that's the whole thing here, is you are changing how you see yourself. At the end of the day, when it comes to the way that you show up and the way you do your content, you will only be as powerful as you see yourself. You will only allow yourself to say the things that you truly want to say because of how you see yourself, right? And people get this all wrong. They're trying to manipulate the way other people see them. They're trying to get other people to see them as powerful, but you have to see you as powerful. And that's why you need to do the mindset work. That's why you need to do the subconscious work. That's why you need to continuously show yourself and be aware of, oh, this is the version of me that actually has this goal that I want. How am I not being her? Right? And everybody's flavor is going to be different. Everybody is going to have a different version of themselves. Maybe it's for you, like you actually wake up in the morning and you go to your Pilates class or your workout, right? You get up early in the morning and you get it out of the way. You know that next level version of you would do that, when right now you're leaving your workout until the afternoon, but you know, like you would be able to get so much more done if you did it in the morning. Or that next level version of you would stop fucking pussyfooting around about investing in that offer or that coach, and she would just go ahead and do it. And when you are taking these steps towards that next level version of you, you quantum leap. You are collapsing time. That is exactly what's happening. Yes, waking up early and getting some work done, waking up early and getting to your workout, whatever it is, you are doing a quantum leap because you are collapsing time between who you are and who you are trying to be. You are actively changing your behaviors and therefore changing the way that you see yourself. You then start to see yourself as somebody who gets up in the morning and works out, as somebody who does a visualization every single night and is visualizing her highest self. And you can completely change who you are in the span of like a couple of weeks, simply because you are changing the habits that you have. You are changing your behaviors, and it's coming from your thoughts. And this is why this work to me is so important, because you will not receive what you don't believe you can have. So we just finished up Cash Freak, the mastermind. This was a bonus mastermind that I decided to do for my clients. So whether you come into the From Imposter to Empowered program or you're a one-to-one client, I offer like programs and masterminds that I do about 3 to 4 times a year, specifically for clients only. And Cash Freak was one of those masterminds, and it was all about receiving through your business and feeling safe to receive, releasing the guilt and shame and fear around receiving and holding more abundance, right? Because that is something that people hit up against all the time in entrepreneurship. They only get enough. They only get what they think that they're deserving of, and then they usually have this like energetic cap where they tell themselves you can't have more than this. So whatever that is, whether that's $1,000, whether it's $2,000, whether it's 20 grand, like we all have this, and it's something that you need to work through. And it ultimately comes down to worthiness and receiving. So we did a whole 3-week mastermind around this. There's also a course. So again, if you come into my one-to-one coaching or Telegram coaching or the From Imposter to Empowered program, you get full access to the course Cash Freak, as well as the recordings for Cash Freak, the mastermind. And something that my client brought up was we were doing an exercise where I had them think about, okay, if somebody were to hand you 20K or 30K in the form of a check right now, what are your first initial thoughts? And she had a lot of thoughts around it's not enough, and it's never going to be enough. She's afraid that if she were to get like a big lump sum of money, or if she were to make a lot in her business, that it would all be gone. It would all go away. And this is because of the way that she was seeing herself, the way that she was seeing herself as somebody who could not hold it responsibly because too of her past and because of the stories from her past. And how you remedy that is creating a new identity for yourself and moving forward in that identity. And again, this can include a lot of habits and behaviors that are not necessarily related to money, but at the end of the day, everything is related when you see yourself in a certain way. When you see yourself in a negative way and you tell yourself, I'm not worthy of that, you're going to people please, you're going to overstep your boundaries. You're going to question yourself. You're going to tell yourself you're not good enough. You're not going to be as powerful in your content as you know that you need to be. You're not going to be able to find the words because they don't feel indicative of how you feel about yourself or about your offer. You're going to accept a lot less than you deserve when it comes to relationships and when it comes to your life, right? And especially if we're talking about manifesting and asking for more from the universe and from the world, right? We cap ourselves at what we believe we can have. We cap ourselves at, I am not allowed to ask for X, Y, Z, or I don't believe I can have it because that's just the way I am. Like, that's just who I am, and who am I to get everything that I want? And you stop asking that question when you see yourself as worthy to have what you want. And what does that entail? That entails you looking at your current identity, looking at your beliefs and your thoughts that you have on a daily basis. And when you are presented with a stimulus that causes you to think about yourself, to question yourself, because that will tell you everything about how you actually see yourself. I was talking inside of the From Imposter to Empowered program because inside of there, I drop riffs throughout the week where I share lessons, where I share mindset shifts, where I share things about sales and content. And something that I was talking about was an experience that I had to uphold my boundaries and I had to uphold my standards. And before, I would have thought really badly about myself. I would have been like, oh, is this person going to be mad at me? Are they not going to want to work with me? Blah, 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 blah. But now I'm very firm in who I am, and I'm very firm in my standards that I hold. And even if it does get a little bit shaky here or there, I always refer back to, you are worthy, you are good enough, and you are allowed to uphold your boundaries. You are allowed to uphold your standards and show people how you deserve to be treated. So again, this is just not a reality that I would have had even a couple years ago, in terms of like really people pleasing and needing somebody to see me a certain way because I needed to see myself in a certain way. I wouldn't want someone to be upset with me because then it would mean that I would have to feel ashamed or feel guilty or feel bad about myself because I did not have a strong identity of who I really was. That was shaken easily by somebody else's opinion. And that's just not the case at all anymore. And it's because of this work. It's because of the identity work, because of the mindset work, the subconscious work that I do with all of my clients. And it truly is such a big piece of the puzzle to making more money, right? Because there comes a point where the content is done. You can sell on your stories. You can sell in your LinkedIn posts. You can sell on a masterclass. Like, these are all skills that you need to have, but at the end of the day, you're not going to be saying the words you need to say with conviction or with confidence, with belief. You're not going to charge what you should be charging for your work, right? If you do not have the belief in yourself and if you do not have the identity of somebody who is worthy of that. And there is nothing fucking wrong with improving yourself. There's nothing fucking wrong than creating a world and creating a life where you are doing things every day for your physical health, for your mental health, for your emotional health, right? Like, and a lot of us have created a career from being the best version of ourselves and the highest good of ourselves. This doesn't mean that we don't have emotions. This doesn't mean that we don't have hard things happen in our lives. This doesn't mean that we don't have personal issues that we have to deal with and work through, right? But at the end of the day, your identity is solid. Your identity is your foundation, and how you see yourself is directly correlated to what you will allow yourself to receive. And I know that you know that this is the missing piece. It is the identity work. It is the mindset work, the subconscious work, the work for you to see yourself as a big fucking deal and somebody who is worthy of making so much money in her business, but your blocks are getting in the way. Your subconscious blocks when it comes to money, when it comes to your worthiness, when it comes to the work that you really desperately want to put into the world. You know that it's not just the content and the sales strategy. That is a piece of it. And we do talk about that inside of my containers, inside of the From Imposter to Empowered program, and inside of one-to-one coaching. But it's also the identity work. It's also the mindset work. It's also the subconscious work for you to change your thoughts, change your habits, change your behaviors, so you can truly see yourself as the woman that has the clients that she wants to work with, that has the online presence that she wants, that genuinely has the money, the high ticket money coming in through her Stripe account, and feeling like my work is doing good in the world, and feeling like it's on par with the way that you see yourself, because that is the ticket right fucking there to overcoming imposter syndrome and feeling good enough and having the success. Is you feel like this makes sense. You feel like, yes, this is in alignment with who I am, right? There are a lot of people that I work with that come in and they're already making money and signing clients, but they don't believe it, and it's because of the imposter syndrome. So we get their identity in alignment with their results. So whether you're a new entrepreneur or you've been doing this for a while and you're listening to my podcast episodes and you're seeing my content and you're just like, the imposter syndrome is getting me down, it's stopping me from actually enjoying the success that I have and then creating more of it, I'm your fucking girl. So head to the show notes to send me a DM on Instagram about one-to-one coaching or my 2-week intensive called Iconic, where it's just you and me for a 90-minute intensive and then 2 weeks in Telegram. Or you can join my group container, which is the From Imposter to Empowered program, and you can actually try that now for 2 weeks for $397. So lots of ways to work with me, either in group with the From Imposter to Empowered program or one-to-one coaching. So head to the link in my show notes and it will all be there for you. Okay? I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Hey babe, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Screenshot it and put it on your stories and tag me at your coach Jill. And if you really love me, you'll rate and review the podcast. And if you screenshot it before you submit the review and send it to me, I will send you a free gift on me. If you want to take this work deeper, come and work with me in the From Imposter to Empowered program or the Real Deal Mastermind. And finally, if you want just a snippet of my work to feel what it's like to be in my world, then you need to buy my best-selling book, You're Not Special, and you can get that on Amazon. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next week.